Hello humans, Master Dinnerflex here, bringing you the low quality content you deserve, and today I thought I would go over something I guess I didn't realize time flies. A video I made last year about engines you should consider trying in your deck. Now that video was met very positively, but I didn't make another one for a while when I really should have. So I decided, you know what, now's a good time, so I guess I'll do it here. So we're going to go over 3 more engines you should consider putting in your deck. Now, some of these are going to be very different from one another, but we're going to start off with the most simple one. If your deck lacks a normal summon, you've probably seen this one before in Kashtira. So we can go ahead, link summon away the Miluseek. We go ahead and search Malwisp, which can go ahead and special summon itself, and then special summon back the Miluseek. And when Kashtira was using it, they could go ahead and turn this into an Arclight. So not only do they have the Omni-Negate Floodgate with Arclight, but a Linkuriboh to back it up. Now, the thing about this one is that this engine grew a little more powerful since the last time you've probably seen it. And let's go over why, which should be pretty obvious right here. So what you might not realize is this did not increase its power going first, but instead going second. Because going first, you definitely would want to keep the Floodgate Omni-Negate combo, but let's say you're going second and you start off with the Miluseek, and obviously we're going to search this. When your opponent has been given plays, obviously you have cards going second to interact with them, but going into your battle phase, you can go ahead and hit with Miluseek to take a card off their board, and then in main phase 2, link this away into Linkuriboh, search Special Summon Malwisp, Special Summon back Miluseek, but then you could link away these two into SP Little Knight. Now, while it has insanely high value going first, it's even more powerful going second when you use a Link monster. So after taking a card away from your opponent, then you banish an additional card and have this freeform floater on the way. And one last thing, we contribute the Miluseek to go ahead and get back to Linkuriboh, so you have ways to prevent it from just being casually ran over. Pretty solid start, a very simple engine, one you've probably seen before, but definitely one that has increased in power and not a lot else has been seen with it. So let's go into another 2 engines. Now for this next engine, it's actually mostly exclusive to basically this one deck, but it's an engine I didn't realize how effective it would be in this deck. And we're going to start off with Cyber Emergency, and the moment I open this deck list, you'll know which deck I'm talking about. As a matter of fact, I am probably going to do a separate video explaining some of the new cards this deck has got, but we will go Cyber Emergency into Cyber Dragon Core, send this off, normal summon Cyber Dragon Core, and we get 2 searches. Now, the one we're primarily going to go for is Cyber Repair Plant, but if you already have the card I'm going to search, or Cyber Repair Plant itself, you can just go for this instead, and have it be like a free pop in your back row. But let's go ahead, get to Cyber Repair Plant, then we're going to link this off into Almirage, and then we are going to activate Cyber Repair Plant, and we will go ahead and search a Light Machine because Cyber Dragon is in our graveyard. And here is a Light Machine that has really impressed me. You can discard 1 spell, special summon this card from your hand. When it's normal or special, you can special summon 1 Sky Striker Ace Rose from your deck or graveyard. Also, you cannot special summon from your extra deck for the rest of the turn except machine monsters. That's fair, but we are going to go ahead and special summon this by discarding a spell, and when we do that, we will of course get Rose. And now we will link these 2 away into Camellia, and because we have 3 or less spells in our graveyard, we can go ahead and dump a Sky Striker spell. Next, we are going to go ahead and banish this to special summon back the Rose, because that's its other effect, is it's Mizuki for Rose in your grave. And then we are going to link these 2 off into Azalea Temperance. This has its own cool effect, but right now it's just going to be used as a link climb material. And then we can turn the Rose into Kagari to get back the Engage, which we have, as you can see, everything we need there. And then we will turn those 2 into Spectra. And now we can activate Engage, get the card we were going to search, and then draw another card. Let's see what it is. Not a bad one, especially now because of new support. But like I said, I'll go much more into it on its own video. But as you can see, there's a weird amount of positive synergy with this. This is its own form of weird Omni-Negate. Like, it can like negate an opponent's card if it's chain link 2 or higher, but honestly, you're probably better off just turning it into Shizuku, because then we can like set these, and let's say we already had one of our search targets, we can have this, and then during the end phase, we can go ahead and get another Engage. Or I guess we can't get Engage, but you know what I mean. But you can do things like this, and it's honestly not that bad, but there's a lot more I can show off with this deck, but considering the fact that, like, this deck now has such a really powerful light machine monster to access, there's, like, some pretty considerable plays you can do with this now, and that's why I think this card is really cool, but having it with Cyber Dragon synergy is what makes it really interesting. But now that we got this one out of the way, let's go on to the third one. Now for this third one is where it gets really, really impressive, because the first two engines have their own applications and more specific decks, especially the second one. This one is very open-ended and can synergize with a lot of different things. And this is one way to access this. We can banish this from our hand or field to add a Wind Beast from our deck to our hand, and this is the card we are going to talk about, Horse of the Floral Knights. I've known about this card for a while, like it's been around for a bit, but the things you can do with it are honestly fairly staggering, so we will go ahead. A normal or special summon, we can add a Light Noble Knight from our deck to our hand. Depending on how you use this engine, you can get another copy of this, get another copy of this for next turn, or we can get Spear Holder. Now, its other more impressive effect is once per turn during the main phase, we can fusion summon using cards from our hand or field, including this card as a material. So not only is this a Stratos, but it's also a body that is a polymerization, which is kind of wild. Having a monster that's both poly and the material for poly is always going to be a very impressive thing to keep an eye on, like Cartesia, and is just an example of that. So we are going to fuse these two into Centaur Mina. So during the main phase, well, this has an effect that you can just set an opponent's trap card they activate, which is kind of cool. It prevents itself from getting imperm, but they were probably going to imperm something else. We can go ahead and use this to revive a level 2 or lower monster from our graveyard. And when this card is normal or special summoned, we can target a level 8 or lower monster on the field. It's treated as Fleur Synchron, and it becomes a tuner. So we have access to level 8 Synchros right here, and there are plenty of really cool ones. As an example, if you need to get into a Synchro so you can trigger your Resonators, here's an example. Or because both of those materials are light, we can go into Visas, and when we do that, we can actually just get access to a bunch of different archetypes, pretty much. And let's not forget, sometimes Konami messes up. This is always something, like, this card is banned, but don't expect, like, we won't get another really powerful level 8 Synchro in the future like this. So this engine would be quite effective with that. But let's go back a step. When we were at this card has another effect. You can tribute it to add an equipped spell from your deck to your hand. And there are some really powerful Rhoda equipped spells in the game now, including Mechanical Water, which gets you to your Mechanical cards, or Durandal to get you to your Infernoble stuff. So, yeah, you can just go ahead and access quite a bit of things with this if you're taking the equipped spell route. But what if, instead of going back one step, we go back 2 steps, where the thing we search with this is Shield Bearer for another copy on next turn, and we're actually focused on its polymerization effect. Well, there's some pretty cool targets you can do. It's a win, so it makes the worst Shadal, but if you use a Squamata, you get to dump Schism, so this will just turn itself into a Winda on your opponent's turn. But in addition, if you decide to put this engine in a Fiend deck, you can go ahead, fuse this Beast and this Fiend into Chimera, the King of Phantom Beast, get a card out of your opponent's hand randomly, and then let's say you make Gravity Controller. On your opponent's turn, depending on the type of Fiend you sent, it will allow it to go ahead and be revived back. Because this is a Mizuki on your opponent's turn for Fiend monsters and Beast monsters. So, as you can see, there's just a lot of utility with what you can do here, and that's just really fascinating. The fact that this engine can dip into equip spells, dip into level 8 synchros, and dip into fusion is what makes it truly a fascinating engine. One I think has potential in the future. I think this is just a really cool, interesting engine that, like I said, these are ones I said you should consider trying, and I think there's merit to each of them. But that's going to be it. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I want to do this video more than once a year because there's a lot of engines Yu-Gi-Oh! Has access to. And in addition, sometime soon, I'm going to be making a Sky Striker video, which is such a cursed thing to say because that deck is getting close to 6 years old. But yep, that's about it. Thank you all for watching. And remember, Master Inner Flex will take your soul.